Hey, what's going on, Who Dat Nation? It is yours truly, TJ Jones, the host of the State of the Saints podcast. And some of you probably thought about starting your very own sports podcast. Well, let me help you out. I want to tell you a little bit about Anchor. Now, if you haven't heard about Anchor, it's an easy way to make a podcast, and it's free. You don't have to worry about paying a bunch of money each month. There are creation tools to allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so you don't have to worry about that. So it can be heard on apps like Spotify and Apple Podcasts and many, many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. So go to anchorfm.com and start your very own podcast today. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Hey, what's going on, Who Dat Nation? It is yours truly, TJ Jones, and welcome to another edition of the State of the Saints podcast, where we talk New Orleans Saints. Thanks for checking out the audio podcast. I really do appreciate it. Thank you to everyone that has subscribed to the YouTube channel. The Facebook page has committed to the audio podcast that I have been putting out. And I'm going to continue to do so as long as I possibly can. I like doing audio podcasts because I can really go in depth about the New Orleans Saints. Sometimes when I'm doing these videos on YouTube, sometimes I don't want to bore you to death with, 15, 20 minutes of just me in front of the camera, just talking about the Saints. So I can really, truly break it down just doing these audio podcasts. So what's in the Saints news? I mean, of course, we already know the Saints eliminated from playoff contention. Coach Sean Payton, he had his end of the season press conference. He talked about 24 minutes. Didn't really say too much anything at all. Just said he was going to try to focus on, the Senior Bowl, and didn't really give any, feedback about the possible future of Drew Brees. Drew Brees talked to WWL down in New Orleans. He didn't really give a definite answer about if he's coming back for the 2020 season. And you have 3 quarterbacks that are going to be free agents, even though Taysom Hill is a restricted free agent. So what can we talk about? What can we talk about with the New Orleans Saints? Well, let's go ahead and start with Alvin Kamara. Let's talk about Alvin Kamara. This has been a topic that I really want to go in depth with. And I know a lot of people in the Who Dat Nation, they got an emotional attachment with Alvin Kamara, and they should. This guy's an incredible talent. I mean, he comes in the 3rd round out of Tennessee. People really didn't know that much about this guy. I mean, he was a true diamond in the rough, even though he started his college career at Alabama. Then he went to a junior college and finally to Tennessee, and the Saints found him. And his rookie season, I remember in training camp, Sean Payton compared him to Marshall Faulk. And everybody was like, man, this guy must going to be a big deal. And he was. I mean, he was Offensive Rookie of the Year. I mean, he took the league by storm. I mean, for the last couple years that he's been in the National Football League and the NFL Top 100, he's been ranked in the top 20. Alvin Kamara is incredible. But this season, I got to be honest with you, Who Dat Nation. Alvin Kamara didn't live up to expectations. The fact of the matter is this. The Saints made him the number 1 featured back. Everybody thought that he would be able to carry the load. I mean, even though Alvin Kamara looks small, he's not really a small guy. I think he's about 5'10", 5'11", about 215 pounds. He's around the same size as Mark Ingram. I know a lot of people don't realize that because, they're different sizes, but he is. And a lot of people thought that he would be able to really, pick it up and take his career to another level, but it didn't happen that way. Besides the beginning in week 1 against the Houston Texans, and then, in the game against the Seattle Seahawks, I mean, he really has been silent. And I got to be honest with you, and this may not be popular opinion, and this may not be the most popular thing to say, but I'm very disappointed at Alvin Kamara this season because I understand that he was hurt at the beginning of the season with a knee and an ankle injury. I understand that. But the fact is how he was quitting on plays, I got to be 100. That's what he was doing. He was catching the ball out of the backfield. I remember his rookie season. I mean, he would try to evade defenders. Guys would try to hit him. I mean, he would break off those tackles and get about 10 or 15 more yards. This season, it seems like as soon as he was running, I'll give you an example so people don't think that I'm just out here nitpicking. That was a play in week 1 against the Houston Texans. Drew Brees threw him the ball, and he threw him the ball in stride. Alvin Kamara ran the ball just straight, 40 yards, okay? And all of a sudden he just ran all the way to the sidelines. You had 2 guys that had an angle. He could have easily, possibly, put his foot in the ground and change directions and maybe get a few more yards. But he decided to go ahead and go out of bounds. Against the Tennessee Titans, he did the same exact thing. I just feel like, he just wasn't giving it his all. And now I'm hearing this stuff about him signing with Clutch Sports. And, well, he didn't really sign with Clutch Sports, but his agent ended up getting a job at Clutch Sports. And he took Alvin Kamara and other football players that signed to him with him. And I hear this stuff about Clutch Sports. And if for those that don't know what Clutch Sports is, it's the same agency that Anthony Davis signed with when he was with the Pelicans. And we all know about Clutch Sports. Rich Paul and LeBron James is also a partner with Clutch Sports. And these guys, really get into the heads of some of these star athletes, and they become different people. That's just like with Anthony Davis. When he was down with the Pelicans, he was out there working hard. He was a team player. He was true, he embedded himself in the culture of New Orleans. Then all of a sudden, he started having problems and issues with the city and the team when Rich Paul and Clutch Sports came along. And, everybody that they represent, it just seems like to me they become completely different people. And I feel like that might affect Alvin Kamara when it comes to the contract negotiations. Now, I understand it's like two different sports. Basketball is a little bit different from football. These guys in basketball can control their destiny. They can fully control where they go, where they play. I understand that. But when it comes to football, a contract for Alvin Kamara, he might end up aggressively trying to negotiate his contract and try to get way more money than the Saints are willing to give him. And it may cause him to leave. And I feel like if you got people like Rich Paul in your ear telling you, oh, man, you deserve this, they trying to lowball you more than an athlete, all that kind of crap, then all of a sudden, we might lose Alvin Kamara. And you really got to ask yourself, after what you've seen this season, should Alvin Kamara be considered for one of the biggest and largest contracts in NFL history? Because I'm going to be honest with you, at the beginning of the season, I probably would have been all for it. The fact that he played as hard as he did the first 2 seasons, and he was out there really just taking the league by storm. But this season, watching him leave a lot on the field, much to be desired. I got to be honest, I don't think that he deserves to be the highest paid running back. I think that there are guys out there that are willing to go out here and put it all on the line, and I didn't see that from Alvin Kamara. And I got people, when I put this video out, I put a video out about Alvin Kamara. You can check it out on YouTube. I got some people out there that were really upset with me for saying this stuff. They were saying, TJ, oh, man, you being negative. You've been being negative since the Saints lost to Minnesota, man. You ain't no real fan. Them fans that talk about Alvin Kamara and talk about Drew Brees, they ain't real fans. Real fans stand by the team. You can be delusional if you want to, but I call a spade a spade. Okay, and Ray Charles and Stevie Wonder can see that Alvin Kamara did not play as aggressive as he would have the first 2 seasons. And I heard people talking about, man, what was it? Like, was it Mark Ingram leaving? Was it the fact that Mark Ingram, his big brother, so to speak, is in a Ravens uniform? That's the reason why he slipped off? Or is it the fact that he's dating a girl that's, call it for what it is. She's a stripper. Like, does that have something to do with it? Is it the fact that he's getting attention? Now he's on Madden commercials, or, he's sitting on a bench stirring a cup of tea or a cup of coffee. Like, is he reading his own press clippings? What is it? And I don't think it's any of those things, man. To be honest with you, I just think that he just left a lot on the field. I don't think that there's nothing going on in his personal life. I just think that he just needs to get it together. And for those that say that I'm tripping or say that I'm just hating on Alvin Kamara, I encourage you to go back and watch some of these games and go watch him play. and you see what I'm talking about. I don't want anybody to think that I'm just up here just on a personal crusade to try to bash the Saints. No. Since the beginning of the season and since last season, since I've been doing the State of the Saints podcast, I have been 100% honest with you. The only difference is now is the fact that a lot of people don't like what I'm saying. But with all due respect, I don't care. I really don't care, because the fact of the matter is, if you look at what I am talking about, like objectively, not through the Saints lens, but objectively, just watching the games, just watching the players, then you will see exactly what I'm talking about. And you will say, man, well, he ain't tripping. But that's what some of us do. You know, we love our Saints and so much that we can't see the imperfections. But the thing about it is, I put it like this. My girl loves me. I mean, I know she does. But I wouldn't want her to leave me out there and not tell me if I'm tripping, or if, you know, I'm doing something wrong, or if my shirt tail out. You get what I'm saying? Like, I would want her to be 100% honest with me. And I wouldn't take it personal, because I know at the end of the day, it's all because she cares about me and she don't want me to look crazy. And that's the same way I feel about when it comes to the Saints. It's not that I'm trying to diss the team. It's not the fact that I have like some type of hatred towards the team, because that's not the case. I know he can play better. All I'm saying is we've seen Alvin Kamara play much better than he has played. And if you do not see that, then you just don't want to see it. You got to be able to critique people fairly. Okay, you got to be able to critique people fairly. If I sit up here and I just went and read the riot act and talked about every single player from the Atlanta Falcons and talked about how sorry they were, people will be talking about, yeah, you're right, TJ. But now it's the Alvin Kamara issue, and now all of a sudden it's a problem. I don't get it. I mean, just look at it. I'm saying, like, just look at the guy. Just look at how he played this season, and you tell me if I'm tripping. Speaking of tripping, we got to talk about the National Football League, because they definitely tripping. I looked at some articles today, and it says that the NFL has selected 2 Saints players to be a part of the Pro Bowl. Tight end Jared Cook and offensive lineman Andrus Peat. No, don't adjust your podcast dial. That is an actual fact. They selected Andrus Peat to be in the Pro Bowl. My goodness. Does the NFL even watch the Saints? Does the NFL even pay attention to the team? Because if they paid attention to the team, there is no way in the world would they allow Andrus Peat anywhere near a Pro Bowl. Nowhere near it. Andrus Peat has been a bust. Let's just call it for what it is, okay? He has been a bust. He has been a disappointment since he stepped foot in the Saints organization. Now, has he had some good games? Absolutely. But he is very inconsistent. He's a smart guy. I would give him that. I mean, he went to Stanford. He's incredibly smart. He played like 3 different offensive lineman positions. But at the end of the day, he's soft as cottonelle tissue. I mean, I'm sorry, man. He's soft as doctor's cotton. I mean, he is soft as, low gospel music. This guy's been soft, man, and I'm sorry. People need to be honest with themselves. This guy has been getting whooped on the line of scrimmage. I mean, I feel like when a guy can be overly aggressive with him, he shrinks. And it has been a big disappointment, man. Honestly, I don't understand why he was even playing in the wild card round of playoff. I don't understand why he was starting. Nick Easton should have got the start. Because Nick Easton, ever since he replaced Andrus Peat when Andrus went down with an injury, he's been playing a lot better. He's playing a lot better than Andrus Peat. So I don't understand why Sean Payton was doing that, besides the fact that I guess Andrus is one of his guys. And don't get me wrong, Andrus Peat will not be back with the Saints. I understand that. I think we all can agree that he don't deserve to be back with the Saints. But the thing about it is he's probably going to end up being somebody left tackle, making a whole lot of money. It will not surprise me. I will be highly surprised if Andrus Peat don't break the bank and be a high-paid left tackle at the end of the season. He's not coming back with the Saints. I don't see it. But the fact that he's in a Pro Bowl is completely laughable. Like, it's completely laughable that this guy made the Pro Bowl. I just went back and I watched the Minnesota Vikings game, man. I'm just watching Danielle Hunter and Everson Griffin just beat this boy like a Persian rug. That boy just getting whipped at the line of scrimmage. And I'm like, what did y'all see in an Andrus Peat? And not to mention, he didn't play for 6 weeks. So he played that bomb that entire time that y'all said, oh, man, this dude definitely deserved to be in the Pro Bowl. Like, man, forget about Ryan Ramczyk. Like, bump that, right? I mean, forget about the first team All-Pro, right? Forget about him. You know, forget about Eric McCoy, a guy who just, you know, did an outstanding job at being a center, a rookie center at that. Forget them. Forget Larry Wolford. Let's just put Andrus Peat up in this thing. That goes to show you the NFL don't care, man. The NFL don't look at the Saints. They don't care about the Saints. And putting Andrus Peat up in there just solidified that, in my opinion. They just basically solidified the fact that they don't pay any attention to what the New Orleans Saints do. And they could care less. Now, if I was them, I definitely would put Demario Davis and Ryan Ramczyk in somebody Pro Bowl. I mean, they should be ashamed of themselves, to be honest with you. If the first team All-Pro come out, and you look at these selections, and the guy that's a first-team All-Pro is not in the Pro Bowl, that tells you everything that you need to know right then and there. That is why I believe, in my opinion, they need to wait till the first-team All-Pros actually come out. Maybe put it out just a tad bit earlier so you can select the right people to the Pro Bowl. I mean, I know the Pro Bowl is not a big deal because it's basically a popularity contest. But at the end of the day, like, you got to get it right, man. Snubbing guys for the Pro Bowl like Demario Davis and Ryan Ramczyk, I mean, Pro Football Focus has Ryan Ramczyk ranked as the number 1 right tackle in football. Demario Davis is ranked in the top 5 according to Pro Football Focus at the linebacker position. Andrus Peat was ranked in the top 20 at his position. So what has the NFL seen to allow Andrus Peat to be in somebody Pro Bowl? I just don't understand it. I just don't get it. Now, Jared Cook, on the other hand, deserves to be in a Pro Bowl. I mean, he started off slow with the Saints. I think we all can agree to that. But towards the end of the season, you know, he was dealing with injuries early. He started to get healthier as the season went by, and his production went up. And I honestly believe, like, and by we, I mean the Saints, we were a Jared Cook availability away from beating the San Francisco 49ers. This guy had 2 catches and 2 touchdowns. He was out there balling. They couldn't stop him. They could not stop Jared Cook in that game. And if Jared Cook would have stayed in that game and the 49ers didn't use goon tactics to try to take him out, which they did, I don't care what anybody say. I don't care what anybody says. The San Francisco 49ers targeted that man because they knew they weren't going to be able to stop him. It was helmet to helmet, and they knocked him out of the game. But if he would have stayed in that game, it would have been a completely different story because I couldn't see them stopping him. It was like when he went out, it's like the offense just started to sputter. Yeah, there was, scoring points, but he was a person that was really out there making noise because you had double coverage on Michael Thomas, and that was leaving him free with a linebacker, and he was winning that. He was winning that matchup. So, I mean, Jared Cook deserves to be in a Pro Bowl. He did an outstanding job towards the end of the season. I mean, unbelievable catches, tough catches. That guy has absolutely no fear in his body. I mean, some of the catches that he was making in traffic, didn't care. All he cared about was coming down with the football. You got to respect a guy like Jared Cook. So he deserves to be in a Pro Bowl. So that brings the Saints to a franchise record 8 Pro Bowlers. Should be 10. Should be 10 Pro Bowlers, which I'm pretty sure is most likely going to be as the playoffs go on because, guys in the playoffs, they end up like continuously playing, and those guys be on teams that can possibly make the Super Bowl. So, they might end up not playing in a Pro Bowl. because they're so focused on the Super Bowl. So you might see Demario Davis and Ryan Ramczyk in the Pro Bowl, but they should have been in there in the first place. But this has been the State of the Saints podcast. Please let me know what you think about Alvin Kamara, Andrus Peat, and Jared Cook being in the Pro Bowl. Also, I want to say thank you to each and every one of you that have subscribed to the channel, that have checked out the podcast since I've been doing them. I really do appreciate it. I just want to let everybody know that I am passionate about the New Orleans Saints, and if you're checking out this podcast, I know you are too. But till next time, all I got to say is, who dat?